740, Big 550 KTRS. Every Thursday we check in with Kathy Helbig from Kathy Helbig's Real Estate, KathyHelbigGroup.com. Good morning, Kathy Helbig.
Good morning, guys.
Closing issues, closing day issues. What do we got?
Oh, we have lots of fun closing day horror stories.
All right.
But basically, in St. Louis, closing day can be super stressful because it's customary for us to do closings on the same day. So closing on possession, I should say.
Okay.
So you go in, you sign all your paperwork, and then the buyer's like sitting there with their moving truck ready to move into your house.
Right.
And in other areas, sometimes we have people come in from out of state and they're like, what? I don't have 5 days to get out after I close, because it's customarily different in other areas.
Right.
But no, in St. Louis, you sign, you vacate, the new people are getting in that same day.
Right.
It becomes a logistics problem, though. So it sounds great in theory. It's all spelled out on paper. But what happens when you pull up with your moving truck and the seller's still half in the house? Mm-hmm. There's not a whole lot of remedies. I mean, you can call the police. You can say they're trespassing. I mean, it gets to be ridiculous.
There are people who do that?
Oh, yeah.
Why don't people just schedule to move maybe the next day?
Because what some people do not want to vacate their house until they see everything signed and the money on the table.
Right.
So they're planning their move out that morning. But then what gets it more complicated was there's dominoes. So somebody's buying this person's house, and then that person's buying this person's house. And you try to plan ahead for getting people to close at certain times, having money be there, but you can't control it all. So one person gets delay in that domino effect, and the whole ball of wax is messed up. So you just have to prepare for that day to be organized chaos. Everybody has to work together. You do have to try to think about your scheduling, to schedule your closings first thing in the morning. Do not let somebody in that string of transactions close at 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right.
One delay and the funding.
Because
funding does not go out after 4 o'clock.
Because I just lost my house. I just sold my house.
Yes.
Now I got nowhere to go because this guy's in my new house.
Right. So now we're dealing with, even if, everybody signed the paperwork, but it was too late in the day for the title company to transfer all the funds.
This is the next one. You see
Correct.
people sitting on their stoop. What are you
Yes.
doing? Waiting for my
Waiting
loan
for
to funds.
Right. So this is a subject that every realtor in St. Louis has been taught different. They hear things different. They read things into the contract that's not there. If your house isn't funded, people say, well, then it's not closed, so they can't move in. They cannot move into my house until the money is in the bank tomorrow then, which another thing is closing on a Friday is a terrible idea, because if anything happens like this, you're waiting till Monday for that stuff to get settled.
Right.
So, but really the contract reads that closing takes place at the time of the exchange of the deed. What does that mean? It's interpretation, but if you sign paperwork that said, I'm turning this deed over to this person, and the seller signed paperwork or the buyer signed paperwork that says, I'm taking this deed on, but the money didn't transfer, it doesn't really say anything about, and the money has to transfer.
Right.
So you've got buyers that are sitting there saying, I'm moving in, and sellers saying, I'm going to call the cops if you do. So the best thing is to write as much detail into the contract as possible. Seller agrees to close by 10 a.m. Buyer agrees to close by this time. What happens if it doesn't fund? And then lastly, don't let a buyer into a house prior to closing when they're not supposed to be. A buyer is not supposed to come into the house again after inspections before a walkthrough. If they do, anything can happen. We just had one come in to measure for floors, and the house was vacant, and we came back a few days later and the house was flooded because a line got snapped on a refrigerator that got moved.
Right.
And nobody's claiming responsibility
for
it.
So now it's you did it, I did it.
Don't do it, yes.
Oh, my goodness. What a nightmare. All right, that's why you call Kathy Helbig.
Yes.
Let her handle all of that. KathyHelbigGroup.com, 314-276-SOLD. Let her and her team help you every step of the way. Market's still booming?
Market is still amazing.
So if you're looking to buy, looking to sell, is one woman who will help you with all of the gyrations.
Yes. School has not, we'll skip that one.
Yeah.
School has not slowed down the market. Let's just leave it at that.
KathyHelbigGroup.com. Kathy, thanks for coming in. 7:40.